me start with Ms. Guinan. So I just want to, because I see these two letters back and forth to Ms. Viandra, I'm probably butchering the name, and our council. So I just want to be real clear about the request waiver number 3, which is, I hope we're clear now, but I'm not sure we are, on the admissions process. So are you withdrawing that waiver request in its entirety?
Yes, although our commitment is to, and our responsibility is to provide everybody.
Please hit your mic.
Sorry. Yes, we are withdrawing that because we really see ourselves working as partners with NCPS to work out the details, and we're fully aware of what the commitment of NCPS is to fund. And to serve economically disadvantaged children.
Okay, but now I want to be real clear on this because the state law says
we understand it's for all children.
Open lottery,
we understand.
No income requirements, and it needs. Can you guarantee me, as we sit here, this will be a fair, open, and transparent lottery for all Montgomery County residents?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just wanted to be real clear on that because that is the law, and if it weren't complied with,
we intend to fully comply with all federal, state, county regulations and laws.
And given that it's a lottery, then I would like whoever can clarify a little bit more on this income eligible pre-K difference, how that works in terms of, so a child gets in for pre-K in the lottery, they're not income eligible. That means that they're not subject to the per pupil allocation, or how does that work?
Well, the pre-K, as I mentioned before, our pre-K programs are for income-eligible 4-year-old children, so that we have a commitment to serve all income-eligible 4-year-old children. It's required by state law. Okay, we used to, because we had space, have some non-income eligible 4-year-olds and some of small number 3-year-olds. But with the exception of a very small group of 3-year-olds that we now have, we don't have non-income eligible 4-year-olds in the program anymore. So their proposal is that they would pay MCPS for those children if there are non-income eligible pre-K children who are selected for the program.
I'll tell you honestly, I'm not sure why that's not just waived, given it's pretty much a standard per pupil lottery allocation basis. But if that's how much, yeah.
This is a slight bit of a refinement to the original application, which we discussed in the May 23rd Q&A, which is that because we're committed to doing a full Montessori implementation, it's really imperative that we start with 3-year-olds, not 4-year-olds. 3-year-olds aren't paid for by the district. We're going to pay for them through external non-governmental resources. We're just going to flat out subsidize them. The same is going to be true for any non-income eligible 4-year-old. Because if you're a 3-year-old, we just want to be clear, and that those children are children who will enter through the lottery. It will be, as you said, a completely transparent, open, and free lottery. But the difference is it's going to start with 3-year-olds, and we'll subsidize them. As we'll have to subsidize a number of things, because the per pupil allocation will not be sufficient to run the school.
And this is my final question for the applicants. I have a number of questions for staff, but maybe I'll wait on the staff questions until my colleagues have had an opportunity to ask the applicants their questions. Transportation costs. How did you come up with the transportation budget? Where did you obtain the information? Was any of that shared with you from outside entities? Specifically, was any of that?
We were relying on the technical assistance that we received from the team.
That would be our director of transportation.
MCPS, the MCPS team. Yes.
Okay, and as far as you know, the figures that
It's
we're giving you-
speculative. I mean, we have a year of planning, so I think that our concept is that this would be a planning year, and these questions would be resolved within that context.
Okay, so you relied on our numbers.
Pardon me?
You relied on our numbers.
Correct.
Mr. Durso. First of all, let me say that obviously you put a lot of time and effort in this document, going back now, last couple of years. So I want to commend the team for that. I'd like to go back to the waivers because I'm not sure if I'm clear. What was the rationale initially, and then it sounds like it's been withdrawn, and where does that leave us? Help me out on that one.
Which way?
All of them?
Waiver number one I guess the principal, and then from a couple comments Doug made.
Correct.
I
I think it's
staff
related
was
to the
included
governance
also.
piece.
The principal, the concern about, the original waiver number one refers to the need for the principal of a Montessori school to have sufficient Montessori experience in order to be able to be an instructional leader. And the concern was, and this because we've seen this happen, there are almost 300 public Montessori schools in the United States, and ones that are successful, and there's a pretty good metric for being able to just decide that. And there's a trend that when a principal is installed who doesn't have the training or the interest, the school fails. We were assured through our interactions with staff that we could have a role in the decision process. And so we're confident, because of the relationships that we've had through those discussions, that we do not have to have the final say as a result. So that's the reason to withdraw waiver number one.
Okay, let me just follow that up. So there's a principal in place as we speak.
No, there is not. There will be a search for a principal.
Okay, okay.
Correct.
There'll be a
Right.
search.
So you have no current principal, and
We have a head of
staff.
school who runs
Who
the
run
current
programs.
school, but that school will be dissolved, and an entirely new school will be opening, and we will run a search that is consistent with MCPS
Okay,
approaches.
so you don't face the ambiguity of people in place who may not
That's right.
be in place
Correct,
in the fall of
correct,
2012.
Exactly.
Correct. It's a blank slate.
Okay, thank you.